Copy link. Shoot it your direction. And then I will address the audience. I swear. Just give me a few more minutes to make sure everything's working correctly. Okay, cool. Twitch is working. YouTube's working. We can officially begin. All right, let's start with just basic introductions. Would you like to introduce yourself first? You're the only one here with me. Yeah, it's pretty great, isn't it? You're also the co-designer for this game jam event we're doing. All right, I'll introduce myself for anyone visiting new. I'm Kaijucon, amateur programmer and attempting streamer, but you know, I'm doing my best. Today we are participating in the Vtuber Tiny Jam 2025. I signed up for this event to make my programming skills better. That's it. Do you want to introduce the premise for the game we're making while I get the project files loaded? All right. Cool. So today we're going to, I have a design doc. I don't need to try to remember this by heart. So today's goal for the Tiny Game Jam is to, by the end of this session, create a character blueprint with at least the foundational elements, create a weapon blueprint that we can use for the ingredient hunting section. And if we have time, we'll figure out what we want to do for the coffee shop scene. Oh, hey! I see someone has joined. Hello. Hello, Mini Wan Wan. We are live on for the VTuber Tiny Jam. All right. Let's start with the ingredient hunting character, I think. So we'll call it night shift character. Actually, I should be smart about this. Player blueprints, and then just drag that in there. If you don't organize early, you'll never organize. All right, so it starts with, comes with a movement component, mesh, arrow component, capsule. I think for the mesh, okay, we'll just use, what's this? That's fine. We'll use that. 90 degrees, drop that down. And then I just want to get a feel for what this component feels like by default. I did not set the right character by default because I created a character. It's not, the game doesn't acknowledge it. So we should also blueprint class, game mode base, and we'll call this night shift mode. So we don't really need to do anything in here just yet, but what we are going to do is go to class defaults and set the default character, if I can remember what I'm doing here. Am I blind? Yes, I am. Okay, save, and then go to game mode. Change the default game mode to our night shift mode. Now, if we test this, we still get nothing. What did I do wrong? Oh, I don't have a camera. Ah! So glad we're doing this in day 1 and not like day 30. Okay, so let's set the camera to be... Did we decide on the perspective? I genuinely don't remember. Third person. Okay, I'll take your word for it, because I genuinely don't remember. Let me get OBS back up here. There we go. Okay. My name, my backstory. This manga I'm in. What am I? Oh, right. I didn't... You can't control anything, because there's no inputs. Okay. Input app mapping. So let's start with the basic movement. So we'll go move forward. Oops. W. No, that's not correct. It's axis mappings, I think. Move forward. W is a positive value, and then S is the negative value. Cool. And then we need to do move right, where D, the right to the right. Then A is the negative value. Then input axis, move forward. Oh god, do I remember how to do this? Move. Oh god, do I remember how to do this? Or did I already forget? Because I'm under pressure. Under pressure. Surely that's not what it is. Move. I literally practiced this. I literally practiced this on Monday, and now I'm like add movement input? Probably is probably the shoot. I really don't want to go grab my notes because that's on my laptop. That's like the other side of the room right now. But I might have to. Is it buying a laptop? Oh, nice. Okay, I'm gonna grab my notes. Or actually, I know I saw it somewhere. If I go back here, go to here, go here. No. Nope. Where was it? I saw... Maybe I'm imagining things, but I'm pretty sure I just saw that there's another character hidden somewhere in this engine somewhere that I can look at for reference. But that's fine. I'll just grab my notes. It's fine. Distant screams. Oh god. Is my laptop even on? Oh, it's on. That saves me some time. Maybe I should have studied a little bit more day prior. So if I go here, go to here. Oh my god, I had it right. Oh my god, I feel so dumb. Okay. Do I need you anymore? I'm gonna say no and be proven wrong in like 2 minutes. Get actor rotation. Break rotator. Get no. I just proved myself wrong like so fast. Sometimes I wish I was smarter. Oh, I wasn't even. Make rotate. We need this, and then we also need this. Then, okay, I think I'm gonna put my nose somewhat close to me in case I need it next time. It literally was this node that I said I don't think so. But add that there, then copy, paste, get input action, move, input axis, move right. This goes there. And then the axis value should go here. And the axis value should go here. And now in theory, if I did everything right, that's right, that's left, that's forward, that's back. Look at that, we can move. We just can't turn our heads. Okay, so let's be smart about this. Isometric view. Okay, the next axis mappings we need to do is look up and look right. So, mouse X. No, it's mouse Y, isn't it? I'm gonna guess, and if I'm wrong, it's okay. We just have to flip it. I think they stay as one. Then all we need to do is do input axis, look up, and do add controller pitch. Connect these. Input axis, look right. Add controller, not pitch. Add controller. It's either roll or yaw. Unfortunately, I don't know turning terminology. We're just gonna guess and hit buttons till it works. Okay, looking down. I can't look down, but I can look left and right. That's a start. That's something. Okay, so it's not pitch. So is it add controller yaw? Apparently not. Apparently not. So there's something wrong. Oh wait. Yaw and yaw. Add controller roll. That also doesn't work. Am I doing something wrong? I don't think I'm doing something wrong. Let's get psychotic. Let's do -1. See what that does. Literally nothing. All right, time to refer to the notes. I was hoping to not have to do this at all, but that's fine. Like I said, amateur programmer. if you watch... No, never mind. I don't want to say it. Okay, so I did yaw correctly, and I did pitch correctly the first time. So that's all hooked up correctly. So I did something wrong in the axis mapping. So add controller pitch. So what did I do wrong? It's probably... What's rude? And? Okay, so look up is mouse Y. So everything looks correct. So maybe it has something to do with the camera itself. The camera itself has some kind of issue. So if I go back to the character, go to the camera. I see currently no issues. What am I doing wrong? I'm not sure why the camera is not looking up and down. Lookup is pitch. Axis value is that. Axis mappings. Lookup is this. Is it because... Hold on. No? No, that's not it. What am I doing wrong? Which is typical in programming, so it's probably fine. Okay, mouse Y. Scale value, -1. Character controller. Input action lookup is add controller pitch. Axis value is that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it'll probably be more like toward the end when we realize if the scope of the design is too big or not. I am so confused. Oh wait, what if I attach the camera to the mesh? I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, but okay. Is it something with the default character class? Seriously, I practiced this on Monday. I had no issues getting this up and running. All of a sudden, I can't figure out how to make my character look up. Movement networking, swimming, flying, custom movement, rotation. Rotation settings? Rotation settings? Is that it? Could that be it? Could that be what ails me? Character movement settings. That does not appear to be the case. You bought waffles. Input axis lookup. Add controller pitch. Input. Value. Camera. You should do so. Jesus! You got censored, bro. That was too violent for YouTube. What if I add controller pitch? What if I do that? Aha! That was the issue. Oh my god, I feel so dumb. I feel so dumb. Okay, so the issue was that the camera was essentially not attached to anything that could rotate on a pitch axis. Now that I've allowed the model itself, was it the model or the capsule component? It was probably the capsule component, whatever. The parent of the whole thing can now rotate somehow, some way. I don't know why that made it work, but it works now. We can now look around. So now we can start working on, go ahead. Yes, the floor here is made out of floor. Okay, let's see. We need to be able to jump. We need to be able to shoot. Jump and shoot. Left mouse button down. Were we making a stealth hunting-ish thing for the ingredient hunting section, or was it kind of like a arcade shooter? Did we ever put our foot down on that? I genuinely don't remember. Okay. There were 2 more input actions that I did write down in my list of things to make, and I just pretended not to remember them for some reason. Interact. Yes. About 2 weeks ago, I looked up a way to do proper interaction systems. And I kid you not, I followed along. I recreated it in a standalone project, and I went, I'm not going to remember any of this. I'm just going to do something stupid instead. And so in my practice project I did on Monday, the interaction system is literally you shoot out a capsule from your eyeballs, and if that hits something and you hit E when you're looking at it, it'll ask that item, can you be interacted with? And the item will be like, yeah, I'm going to do this now. And then that's the interaction system. Oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Okay, I don't know why. The movement felt like it bugged out for a second. Oh no, it's worse than I thought. Pokemon. Can I get hidden in game? There we go. Can I have the arrow component visible? No, I cannot. Okay. What is happening? Oh, I see what's going on. The model itself has a collision, and you see its toes are outside of the capsule box, right? If I look down at the wrong angle, I lose mobility in certain directions because the toes are blocking. We're gonna go ahead and turn on no collision. And like that, the problem is not solved. Excuse me? What am I doing? Let's not appease the feet people. Let's keep our camera away from the feet. Thank you very much. I don't even want to know what that is. Let's not get into it, please. I'd rather not. I also don't know what that is. Interesting. Why are you telling me this? You're only hurting me. You're causing emotional damage. So what if I... He did not say positive emotions. It's fine. I don't want to get stuck on this. Okay, so I need to program... I closed the project settings. Why did I do that to myself? Let's program jump and shoot. So jump is easy because Unreal is pretty cool like that. Let's put this up here. Mouse input. Oh, speaking of remembering things. Remember how you made a joke about a pitch for an anime, and I was like, I don't know what that's from? I do know what that's from. I found the video shortly before the stream started. And I don't know if I should regret it. You probably did, and I just forgot. There we go, jumping works. Thank you, Unreal. But because it's kind of arcadey, what can we do to make the jumping? We don't have enough play space. We don't have enough play space to test cool movement mechanics. What am I talking about? I know, right? I was just thinking, oh, how can we make the jumping feel good? And I was like, wait a minute. Oh no. Oh, I found another bug. Okay. If you face this direction, you can move this however you want. If you turn this direction, your controls are inversed. I don't know how that happened. Use controller desired rotation. Orient rotation to movement. I think it's this one. Nope, that's not it. Okay. What is going on? How about that? Why? Naze. Which duck game? Okay. Wow. I'm so confused. I'm running into issues I've never ran into when I was practicing programming for this event. It's so frustrating. Am I gonna have to like dig through the notes to see if I changed anything or if I just did something wrong? Oh, I'm an idiot. I fixed it. I was dumb. I accidentally put this Z-axis into the X-axis on the make rotator instead of to the Z again. So basically, I was only allowed to input certain directions. Like, I'm so dumb. Anyway, jumping's in the game. Okay. Interactions. Inputs, action, interact. Capsule. Nope. Can I spell? Can I spell? Capsule trace by channel. There we go. Grab our camera. Get location. Get world rotation. Or location. One of those two. It doesn't matter. Oh shit, get world location. Get forward. Really? Vector. Wait, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, vector plus float. The float being like, I don't know, 1,000. Radius 30. And then draw debug for duration. What does that look like? Okay, I did something wrong. Is it not add, but maybe in fact multiply? It is not multiply. Oh my god, I've made so many trace channel stuff before, and now I'm just like, how did I do that? Get forward vector. Oh! Okay, that makes sense. Get rotation. Basically, where is the camera is your starting position. Where is your camera looking? Make it face forward. Now, I think it's add, float. It might be multiply, but that doesn't matter for this moment. Get where the camera's looking, draw a line, make it about 100 units long. That is the end point. Compile, save, test. Aha! Not quite. It's probably multiply. Multiply float by 100. Connect the dots. Something is still wrong. What if I full screen this? Okay, something is still wrong, but we're heading in the right direction, and that's what matters right now. Oh, you need to get the world location and add the resulting length of the vector to create the end result. Yep, but I'm hitting my own character's head, so what I want to do is probably increase the camera's height to be EDF levels. And I'm still hitting... Or no, the vector length is only 100. I need to go even further beyond. Okay. Ta-da! Now it works. But now the camera is too high. Okay, we got something. So... let's... How do we want to do this? Will that interfere? No. So this height works for now. We can jump, we can interact. I say interact. Once I actually add functionality to the items we're interacting with, we can interact. But for now, this works. Almost. Interact. I'll just do input action, action shoot. And we'll leave that there so we can build the weapon blueprints. So we'll just go into here, go to blueprint class, go to actor, and we'll call this magic gun. Yeah, magic gun. just so we can see this magic gun, we'll add a static mesh. And we'll use... What do we want to use? We'll use a cone. That's our gun. Actually, I thought of something even funnier because that will make less work for me later, and it's also going to be funnier in the moment. Add a skeletal mesh. We'll call it gun. We'll make the gun a person. For one silly reason, if I go to the actual skeleton of this person, right? And let's say I find the head and I add a socket and call it the muzzle, right? We'll put it at his nose. That's all we need to do with that. Now, we're gonna make a custom event. We're gonna call it fire. And I'm realizing there's still one more thing I probably need to do to make this work, which is make a projectile. Blueprint class, actor, projectile. And all we need to do is add projectile movements. We'll set the initial speed to be 1,000. Max speed will also be 1,000. Compile, save, add a static mesh. We'll make it a ball. Sphere, sphere. That sphere is not real, but this one is. Okay, that's all we need to do here. Actually, no, it's one more thing I want to do. I want to make sure that it despawns after a certain amount of time. Lifespan. Is this a lifespan in seconds? Doesn't say. I'll give it 30. 30 lifespan. All right. Fire, spawn actor from class. Spawn projectile. Get socket location transform. Socket transform. The socket will be called muzzle. And we'll attach this up here. Now, when you shoot, it's going to, first of all, add a child actor. Attach actor to the mesh. And this is when I realized there's one more thing we need to do, the skeletal mesh, to make this easy. We need to go to the hand, right hand, add a socket, and we'll call it the grip point. I did not spell point correctly. Add that there, save, close that, go back to our night shift character, construction script, attach component to component. Grip point, snap to target, and set the child actor to be the magic gun. So now if I compile this and go to my viewport, you will see that we are holding a gun. May need to rotate that, but we are holding a gun. And just to make sure, oh, that's not gonna work, is it? Nope, no, it's not. Okay, we're gonna need to make the magic gun different a little bit. We're going to rotate him 90 degrees like this. And we're also going to make him a little bit smaller. Okay. Grab child actor. Cast to, nope. Get parent. Component? No. How did I do this last time? There's a way to do this. I just need to remember. Child actor component. No. Cast to magic gun. There we go. And then fire. So in theory, does not inherit this. This will always fail. Okay, I do need to add something here. Get actor. Get child actor. There we go. That's what I was missing. Now in theory, it works. My magic gun does shoot big ball. I could make it shoot people. If I just go to here. It's fun for a minute. We can do it real quick. So if we just go to here and make it hidden in game. Skeletal-ish. It now shoots people. Beautiful. All right, moving and shooting works. That's off the list. Input action pause. I do have that in there. So this is pretty simple. Let's do this. We'll expand on this later. So input action pause. Set game paused. Actually, before that, we want to create widget. We want to add to viewport so people can see the widget. And then we also want to, and this is a good time for me to actually do something really important that I've been delaying on. I need to make my own character controller. So this is going to confuse me later, but that's fine. We'll come back to it. Player controller. Player. I should call this something simple. Night. Shop control. Nah. That'll work. That'll work just fine. All right, what we need to do in here is we need to invent begin play, set input mode, game only, self, and then custom event, pause game, set input mode UI only. So that way, when the player pauses the game, they'll be able to use their mouse. Get a reference to self. And then we want to do custom event resume game, which sets the input mode to, oops, input mode game only. I think that's all we need to do for the moment. We'll need to expand on that later, but set game paused, cast to player controller. Nope, I called it something else. Shooter controller. Get player controller. And as shooter controller, pause. This should probably come earlier, but that's fine. Let's make a new folder. We'll call it widgets. We need to go to user interface, widget blueprints. We'll call this pause menu. And I'm realizing that if I want to test pausing, I actually don't want it to be the escape key. We'll put it tab. That's probably also a bad idea, but we'll fix it later. So let's grab a vertical box, center it. We'll set the size to 500 by 500. Move it across. So minus 250 by minus 250. Let's grab text. And we'll just make it say paused. Make it center, make it nice. Did I import? No, I didn't. I didn't import fonts, so we'll use the default fonts for now. Let's add a button for unpausing the game. Get some text. Welcome back. Set color and opacity. Not that. I need this one. Just need to stand out. There we go. And then we want to make sure that people can't click on the button, not the button, click on the text. Because clicking on text doesn't do anything by default. Now you'll actually click the button if you click on the text. So we'll say resume game. And that's all I want to program for this widget. So just to make sure it works, cast to player controller. Yes. No, because I made a custom controller. There we go. Get player controller, which is down here. And then resume, and then destroy widget. Nope. Remove. From parent. I think that's how that works. And then we also need this to do something else. Can it do it from here? Set paused? Yeah, set game paused to not true. Can I use destroy? No, I can't. Okay. Let's test it. Right. I need to actually tell the player which widget they're using. Like that. And I forgot to set it to where I can see my mouse when I pause the game. Oh, my ears. I put the controller in here. Input UI only, set show mouse cursor to true. And when the game resumes, set show mouse cursor to false. Copy that, paste it up here, like that. And I still can't see my mouse. Okay. Night shift, add to viewport, set game paused, pause game. Pause game. Input mode UI only, set show mouse cursor to true. I still can't see my mouse because my character is not using the right controller. I need to go into the night shift game mode, change the controller to shooter controller. Yep. We can now pause the game. Beautiful. That was way easier than I thought it was going to be. Okay. We have the foundations, and it only took us an hour. That's not bad. Okay, we need to add things like... yes, we actually need values so we can actually set up things later like health, damage, and other fun nonsense like that. So let's start with simple stuff. The design document says there's 2 booleans we need to make. So can shoot and in air. Do we want that? Why not? If I put it in the document, it's probably something important. All right, let's put health. Let's put right, max health, because we want there to be a limit. Armor. Is that really all the variables that we wanted? That seems wrong. We can figure it out later. Okay, so this is pause game. Okay, so let's set up these systems real quick. So let's do events any damage. So anytime a player suffers damage, we do health minus whatever that damage was. And then we set the new health to be that. Branch. Then if health is less than or equal to 0, the player dies. And just to test that, we're going to do simulate physics and set movement mode to none. So now we need a function to hurt ourselves until we simulate physics to ourselves. So let's do input. Let's use 1. Every time I hit the 1 key, I want to do apply damage. Damaged actor is going to be self. And we're going to hurt ourselves for 1 and set our health to 3. And then we'll just add a little node in here. If we don't simulate physics, tell me how much health I have left. Yeah, that's it. So we can test this now. I have 2 health. I have 1 health. I did not simulate physics. That's not good. Let's try that again. Oh my god. Okay, it works. Good news. It works. Gonna have to fix something about that later. But it's fine. Alright, so damage works. That's important. So input action shoot. Before we can shoot, we gotta do a check to see if we're able to shoot. So drag this out a little bit. Branch. Can't shoot. Cool. Cast off BP, jump, pause, interact, invent any damage out of ammo. Oh, right. So for this next function I need to set up, one of the designs concepts that we came up with for this game is instead of getting ingredients at night being based around a time limit or survive to the end of the level kind of thing, we made it to where your magic gun has limited ammo, and when it runs out of ammo, you lose the night shift. You go back with all the ingredients that you got. So we need to set up a function for checking if we are out of ammo. This should be relatively easy because we can just do another branch right here. So cast to the magic gun. We want to ask the magic gun, do you have bullets? Or is there a smarter way we can do this? There's a smarter way we can do this. Oh, magical weapon, do you have bullets? Bro, I'm starved. What are you talking about? All right, so first of all, we need to set a maximum ammo. This will be an integer, and we're going to make it instance editable and expose. No, that's it. That's all we need to do. Maximum ammo, we'll set it to 5. Next, we need to go and do current ammo. Set that to 5. And then we need to do a Boolean called out of ammo. No, we don't. We don't need to do that at all. I don't know why I'm saying that. Okay. We can delete this. Okay, so fire, branch. Pull this in. Drag that out. So, when you fire, is your ammo greater than 0? If yes, you will fire. And when you fire, we're going to understood. We will take away a bullet. And then what we're going to do is if that new integer is less than or equal to 0, branch, we're going to trigger a custom event that I'm going to create in the game mode because I can do that now. All right, custom event. We'll call this end of shift. So when this is called, God, how do we want to do this? We need to tell the player character as well they need to stop doing what they're doing. So let's add a custom function, maybe. I'm going to say maybe and do it anyway. Okay, function end of shift. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our pause function here. We're going to steal almost all of that. So, cast to player character. Or do we even need to do this in the game mode? We can just have the gun tell the player, "Hey, you lost. Go to bed." All right. Is your current ammo less than or equal to 0? Yes, it is. Then it's end of shift time. So cast to night shift character. Get player character. And as player character, end of shift. Bam, look at that. Simple. And also the of is not in the right place, but we're not going to worry about that. So, in theory, so character shoots the gun. Can't shoot should be set to true by default. Can I just have the magic gun do the can't shoot part? I could, but at the same time, I do need this here for some reason. We'll set it to true and we'll worry about it later. How about that? Okay, so the player can shoot. They tell the magic gun, I want to shoot. The gun says, okay, I will shoot. And if it can't shoot because its bullet count is less than or equal to 0, it will trigger game over. Let's test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, all right, that works. That literally did it. Except because I have it set as the pause menu, let's just throw together a widget real quick for the end of the level. Widget blueprint, we'll call it night shift clock out. And now that a Kamen Rider reference flew in my head because of course it did. Yeah, clock over. Anyway, now that I got that joke out of my system, vertical box, set it to the center. We're going to set this to 500 by 500. Set it to -250 by -250. Jump down. Everything else is fine. Cool. We're going to get some text. And we're going to say out of ammo. Add another text right below it. We're going to say the night shift has ended. And then we're going to add a button with some text. We're going to make that button say return to the cafe. Make sure that that text is not hit testable. And we're going to give the button a functionality. Before I do that, I'm going to rename the button so it looks good in my code. Return. So when this is clicked, it's going to cast to night shift mode, get game mode, and then end of shift. And when night mode end of shift happens, I don't know if I want to program this because it's going to give me errors if I do this without creating all the right stuff. So I'm actually going to hold off because we know it works. Go back to Magic Gun, end of shift, night shift character, end of shift. Change the widget to the game over screen and test. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of ammo. Night shift has ended. Bam. All right. We still have an hour. What else can we do? Shoot out of ammo. We actually did everything I outlined for day 1, more or less. Honestly, yeah. Adding a character, making a basic weapon system, and creating a pause and return to shop function was way easier than I was expecting. So the next thing would be I need to develop a save system and also an inventory system, which are two things I know basically nothing about, but that's why we're here. We're here to learn. So learning is more than half the battle. It is a long ass battle. I'm glad I brought some water. I've been talking so much. Okay. Let's see. Is it enumeration? No. I'm thinking of something else. So what I'm looking for... Oh god, Unreal, don't crash. I'm gonna save all, just because of that now. Mm-hmm. No. I guess this is also something I can come back to, but like it's on the tip of my tongue. There is a way to do this. Wait, blueprint class, all classes, save game, and then we'll call it the save game. No, we need something better. Cafe save game. Because if you don't rename it something clever, you'll accidentally pull up the engine default stuff, and you'll be wondering why all the hard work you put into that object is gone. Okay. If my memory is correct, we just need to dump a ton of information into this about what we want to save. So I need to look at our ingredients and recipes. Which reminds me of the funny way I was telling Joe I wanted to program brewing coffee in this game. And now I want to work on that instead. Let's work on the interface for that. That sounds fun, actually. User interface, blueprint widget, and we'll call it day shift. Nope, we should call it something different. Let's call it coffee interface. Coffee zone. All right. Maybe I should sketch this, actually. Let me open up Krita. This is streaming, right? When Krita opens, I'll see here. Oh, hey, Kev the Game Dev, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Is Krita opening? Or did I hit enter and Windows 11 was like, haha, that's cute. It was Windows 11 being, haha, that's cute. All right, new image. All right. What are you working on? We're working on the we're working on a game where you run a coffee shop during the day shift, and at night you fight coffee themed monsters for the ingredients you use during the day shift. At this moment, I'm going to be designing the interface I'm going to make for the coffee machine itself. So what I want is yes, my two buddies here for your moral support. All right, so here's the counter, right? Sounds like an interesting idea. Thank you. You should pass that on to my buddy Joe over here. He came up with it. All right, let's add a layer. We'll put the coffee machine here. And then grab some white. There we go. Maybe better if I do that. Okay. I want the buttons to be here, the spout to be here, and then the cup will be right there. Let's add another layer, put it on the bottom of all this, and I'm gonna draw a person with mouse controls, because that's always a good idea. What am I doing? Kind of is. Oh, I just thought of something that would help. We need a jar. Not on this layer. On another layer. Maybe on the coffee machine layer. Yeah, please. Oops, I need the color black. This will be the tip jar. This will show how much money you earned. Tip jar. It's so bad. It'd be cool if I could interface a word bubble with the person's order. Like this. I don't know, that'd be kind of nice. What? How many ingredients do we have again? Um, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have 6. So what if I just on another layer, just to be safe. And ice. So what if I just do... I don't... Can I get a stamp tool? I'd love a stamp tool. That'd be great. Let's grab a stamp tool. They don't have a stamp tool in shapes. Or if they do, I don't know where to find it. Which is fine. It's fine. Okay, so... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll have this bottom row be the ice button. And then just to help visually distinguish this for myself, we'll do red, we'll do green, we'll do blue, we'll do orange, pink, and purple. Purple. Okay. When looking at this masterful work of UI design, Joe, is this kind of how you imagine this to work? Like you click a button for your ingredients, ice button, it gets poured here, we give it to the customer, they give us a tip jar. All right, cool. Was there any additional functionality that we may want to include? Whoops. Oh, that's right. Right. There's a way to do this. There's a way to do this. What if I... What if I add a... How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? On another layer, just to be safe. Another button here. Oh god, it's purple. Another button here. And we'll call this I don't know. Turn around. And then I fall apart. Okay. So, this turn button, you can barely read it, but that does say turn. It'll turn your character around to face the rear counter to do the additional brewing tasks. And we can represent that by just clicking on this new button. And now we have a whole new tab. Look at that. That's crazy. Anyway, put a countertop here. Add a new layer. We need a grinder. So let's do... I'm going to draw a really simple hand grinder. And by draw, I mean I'm going to use this little shape tool. Exactly. Okay, draw that, and then draw that with that. Look at that. That's a grinder if I've ever seen one. Where where in our notes are the upgrades? I genuinely can't remember them. Day shift props. Day shift props. There it is. We need a chocolate mountain and the milk up the head. I can't. Bean grinders are. All right. How do you picture a chocolate melter? Are we gonna be like level 0? It's a microwave, or is there like an actual chocolate melter that we can use? I'll just draw a temporary microwave because I just need an interface. That's all I need. So we'll do that with a door handle, and then we'll make this red just so I know that's a button. And we'll also make this red. Oh, God! Okay, maybe I won't make that red. Maybe I'll just leave it be. Or maybe I can do this. Aha! That's the button for the grinder. There we go. And then the milk frother. Yeah? How do frother appear? Oh, okay, I've seen those before. We'll just represent it by... Oh, right, I need the color black. Represent it with this. And then we'll hand draw the whisks. That's as close as we're gonna get. And then we'll add a button. Bam, that's a button. Let's save this. Probably should not have my folders on the stream. Do I have a decent... Do I even have a decent folder space for this on this somewhere? I'll throw it here. Why not? We'll save it as a CRITA file. So this is the coffee machine interface. And this is the additional tools interface. Okay. I need to drink more water. Okay. Copy interface. We're going to start with a... Is there just a box? No, it's not that simple, is it? Wait, it can be. First, you grab a vertical box, and then you make it, like, pretty big. Let's anchor it center. Then you take a horizontal box, and you throw that in the vertical box. Yes, I knew you could do it. All right, add the first row. It's 3 buttons. There's a way to resize those buttons. I'll figure out how that works in a minute. Maybe it's literally just this, this, and this. Negative. Okay, it's this. Now we need to do something Whatever that something is, we need to do it. I swear I knew how to do this instinctively at one point. Oh, padding and size. There's a size thing somewhere. Window opacity transform. Aha. Aha. Okay. Let's start with button sizes at 2. And then we'll also padding. How about left 0? No. Right 20. Okay, so padding is not the solution. Maybe it is transform. Aha! There we go. So negative 180. That is not negative 180. That's negative 180. Cool. Center button, we also want to scale it to be 2 and 2. And then that last button, we'll scale it to be 2 and 2. Transform 180. And then we'll also bring it down just a tad. $25 and $25. Okay, I just totally screwed it up somehow. Only in path. Okay, so now all we need to do is just duplicate that. And duplicate that one more time. And now we just need to space it out. So, if we go to transform, for maybe the last one first. Let's try 150, and we'll try 75. Got buttons. So we're gonna add another button, preferably at the bottom of this. Okay, we need to do something more creative then. 0, 0, and that's already at 0. Padding, here we go. Bottom 10, 100. Hey, that looks better. Bottom 100, nice, and then bottom 100. Look at that, it's almost looking like a thing. Now we need some text so people can wait. Hold on. My brain, it's growing. If we draw the icons, we can put the ingredients on the buttons. But actually, also, I'm remembering that the ingredients need to be processed. So that we would technically need 2 icons, kind of. Let me check my notes. Mechanics to environment, Am I too far down? I am too far down. Black beans, vanilla beans, chocolate, espresso beans, milk, and ice. Okay, so let's grab this vertical box, slide it down. About there. And then what we also want is a box Maybe a vertical box, actually. Vertical box. We'll throw it down here. We'll make this one 500 by 500. That might be excessive, actually. Let's go 250 by 250. Bring it up. We'll say tip, not text. We'll say tips. And then we'll add another text below that. And we'll interface it as that. And then we'll create a binding. Nope. String plus, no. Text plus. There's a way to do this. Hold on. I can figure this out. ToString. Then, oh wait, it's append. Yep, there it is. $sign there. And then once we program money, we can make it plug in from here to this B column here. So that way, as you progress through your day shift, this will display an actual like money amounts, like how much money you're making. So that'll be cool. Okay, that's one of them done. Let's save game. Game modes. Blueprints. No, it's blueprint class. Game mode base. Day shift mode. We didn't do anything in here. That's good. Day shift mode is going to need a different character, so we're going to need to go to player blueprints. Go to blueprint class. Yeah, technically a character. Day shift character. This character literally just exists so that way the player can interface with the day shift menu. They're not going to be able to move around the cafe. So all we really need to do is copy the pause menu system and then create an end of shift functionality in here as well. So we just need to do create a function end of day shift, just so we have slightly different names here. In the night shift character, all we did was say create the new widget, set game as paused, and tell the controller that we're pausing the game. We can probably use the same, nope, we want a different controller. I decided on that. Blueprint class, player controller, cafe controller. I might need to start segregating this into day shift, night shift folders. Day shift. Okay, so first we need to create widget. And for now, we'll just use the pause menu widget. We need to go back to... Oh my god. Come on, stay with me. Go to the event graph, event begin play, set input mode, UI only. Get a reference to self. Did we do anything special with the night shift controller? Set show mouse cursor true. That's what we need. And because this is a UI only controller, we don't need to change the status of the controls or the mouse cursor when we pause the game. So we can just leave this for the most part as is. So let's add pause. Pause is there. Pause menu. Add to viewport. We need to change the cast. We actually don't need a cast. It's it. That's it. Set the game as paused. Let the player interface with the UI. Oh, a little more. A little more. Does the player need to do anything else? They need a camera still. So, camera. And then the camera will be controlled by the UI. So we'll just say... Do we need to say anything? Is it just fine if we just do this for now? Cool. What else was on the development timeline for today and tomorrow? Making the enemy, it seems. Okay, so if I change this game mode to day shift. Okay, so that's not working as intended. Day shift mode. That's my issue. I need to do the cafe controller, and then I need to do day shift character. And then if I hit tab, nothing happens. Interesting. Input action pause. Create menu. Add to widget. Set game as paused. Wasn't anything more than that though, right? Oh, I know why. I know why. It's because I said it's UI only. So the game is assuming that yeah, we don't need to do that. Set input mode, game, and UI. There we go. So now, if I do this, tab, resume game doesn't work because the UI is designed for the night shift character instead of both. So what I want to do then is when you click the button, if I do get game mode, get game mode, nope, get name, we can work it out later. Or we can be really dumb, right? And we can make the button... this is such a bad idea. Switch... No, it's not a switch I'm looking for. What is it called? What is it called? What is it called? No, it's if A then B kind of thing. What was it called? No, it's not a for each loop. Alternatively, we can do this even dumber and just make it check both characters until I come up with something smarter another day. Not that. I need to get... No, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. Player controller is get let's not get stuck on the UI today. I can just do some research tomorrow. We know it works. We know it works. If it means we have to make a separate pause menu, I'll make a separate pause menu. It's not hard. Okay. We can at least get started on the enemy parent blueprint. So the goal here is I make one blueprint for an enemy, right? And I give it everything it needs to be a good enemy. Like I give it health, I give it this, that, whatever. And then all I need to do is right click on it and create child blueprint. And then that child, this thing here, will inherit everything I told the parent it's going to be. And then I can also go into the child and tell it what makes it special compared to its Papa blueprint. So for example, let's say, so exactly that. That's literally exactly how this is more or less going to work. I also need to, before I forget, I need to make a AI controller, which I don't think I really need to do much, but we'll call it Coffee AI. Yeah, I don't need to do anything in here at this moment. And then just to make sure I have everything set up, we're going to do a behavior tree. And we're also going to do a blackboard. I may or may not use these features. Who knows? The AI is not meant to be complicated. All right, so what does every enemy need to have? It needs to have a collision. It needs to have a mesh. It needs to be able to move. It also needs health. It needs to have damage. It needs a Boolean for if it's alive. No, it doesn't, because it has health. We don't need to ask that question. Excuse me. Let's give it... was it vision? AI perception, I think is what it is. No, this isn't it. There's something else. What was it called? Pawn sensing. That's what it was. Compile. Yep, there it is. So everything that you see in green, blue, and yellow are its different senses and how far they reach out. So for example, if I go to sight radius and start bringing it down, the green starts shrinking, so its cone of vision goes down. And I also want to bring in its peripheral vision to be that. We'll bring it to about that. We'll extend the range just a bit so it can see things. And just to make sure that it can see the right things, we're going to go to our player. We're going to give it AI perception stimuli source, which basically says, I am something the AI can see. That's all we need to do with that. So let's do some quick functionality here. Prevent any damage. That is not what I said. Prevent any damage. There we go. So anytime the enemy is damaged, we're just going to use the most simple function here. Take your max health, subtracted by the damage you just suffered, and that will become your new health. And if that new health is less than or equal to 0, you die. So set movement mode to none. It has indeed ended. And then we also want to do set simulate physics. And then just for testing purposes, we're going to go to the AI here. We're going to make a child blueprint. We'll call it test child. We're going to give it the same mesh that we have. We're also going to change the grip point so I can actually see where the projectiles are coming from our person gun who shoots people. Where did I put that socket? There it is. Let's see how that looks. It gets worse the more I try to just make this easier. Oh, right, wrong game mode. Blueprint. Select game mode. Night shift. Okay, so I also need to change the muzzle. We need to rotate it about 90. There we go. I forgot that I added an ammo limit and a game over condition. All right, test child. We're going to give you 1 health. And then we're going to go to our projectile and we're going to add a new function, which is actor begin overlap, apply damage. Damage actor is the other actor. We're going to apply 1 damage just to make sure we're not shooting ourselves. Perfect, we're not shooting ourselves. Okay, so now bring out the child. Okay, that's not working. The child has survived. Event begin overlap. Is it because the skeletal mesh doesn't have a physics collision? Is that what's going on? Yes, no collision, which makes sense. So what we're going to do is, first of all, make new root. Okay, I did something a little silly here, but that's fine. We're going to add a capsule component. We're going to make this the new root. How do I want to do this? One. Nope. 0.75, 0.75, 0.75. Nope. 0.5. Yep. 0.5 and 0.5. I haven't saved the level this whole time. Oh my god. Test level. Okay. The capsule is going to have overlap all dynamic. Oh, it worked. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to make sure the capsule component, well, actually, character mesh. Let's change that to physics actor. That works. Even if the physics are wonky. All right, we can now shoot the AI, and the AI will suffer. Just to suffer. Let's create an attack function. Custom events. Actually, we don't need to. No, I'm in the parent, so we can do that here, and then we can just add the actual functionality in the test child. So we'll do attack. Go to the test child, go to the event graph, and then we're going to override the attack function and say line trace, no, capsule trace by channel. So get the mesh location. Actually, we can just do the actor. That might be smarter. Get actor location. Drag it in there. Get actor. Oh, get world rotation. No. Oh, right. Get actor rotation. Then get forward vector, and then times it by a float, which is going to be 1000. And then we're going to do plus vector, combine these, plug it into the end. Radius will be 30, and we'll set the debug type for duration. And then just to test this, what I'm going to do is have the child face a direction. Yeah, that should be fine. And what I'm going to do is pawn sensing events. On scene pawn. What's your vision look like? A little ridiculous, actually. Let's bring that down to 45, 30. Oh, Unreal, don't crash on me now, please. It would break my heart. Okay, we're fine. Okay, so that vision range is actually insane. Just to make sure we don't screw up our testing here, move the player a bit. Okay. Test child. When you see the player, attack. Ooh. That worked. It's even seeing us too. That's nice. So the next thing to do is go up here, break out that hit result, right? Which is basically saying like event attack, draw a line and draw capsules where you're hitting stuff. All right, what did you hit? This is all the information you can pull from what was hit. So we'll go to hit actor. We'll do apply damage. And then get damage. And by default, we'll make the test child's damage 1 because we have 3 health. I think so. We took damage. We took damage. Oh god. Yep, we're dead. Good job. All right. We're reaching the 2-hour mark. I think we're not gonna do much more today. Nikki C's dead. Cool. So at the very least, we have the basic functionality of the night shift level put together. We are going to need to expand on some things, like actually implementing real AI, actually implementing models that aren't just a mannequin shooting a mannequin with a mannequin. And then we also need to come up with an inventory system for the night shift. And then day shift is we got ideas. We need to implement them, but we have ideas. But yeah, I think this is a pretty decent stopping point for today. Hello, Edis. Thanks for tuning in. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, we'll be resuming this tomorrow. So, like, if you want to tune in to see more of this development, we'll be back tomorrow. The stream's scheduled. It is on the YouTubes. I have both chats open, so it saves me some time. Yeah, so tomorrow, let's actually update our design document notes on development timeline, so that way I actually know what I'm doing. So let's just change, get rid of this day 2 section here. Day 02 is going to be June 21st. How did I format this? Okay, there was not much formatting going on. So number 1, since we got some decent progress on it, I kind of want to work more on the night levels a bit. So maybe implement basic AI into enemy parents BP. Behavior tree and blackboard values. Basically just is seen, attack. That should be fine. What else do we need to do for night shifts? We do need to implement I'm spacing on what I'm trying to say. If I look at the event graph, I guess I can start like, we need to make a test level, like an actual test level to test AI and stuff. So maybe expand the level, expand test level to validate AI behavior and movement mechanics. So that shouldn't take too long to do. Oh, our save system. We need to expand on our save system. So we need to implement save system with inventory of ingredients slash recipes slash treasures. Yeah. Maybe magic gun, backpack, grenades. Oh, we do need to at least consider implementing the upgrade shop for the night shift stuff and the day shift stuff. So maybe upgrade shop UI and available items. You know what? Since I'm saying all this out loud, open up the save system real quick. One of the values we want to save is player. Well, we don't need to say player, we can just say money. And we'll make this an integer, because that's something we want to save. Oh, wait, can I? Is there a way to do this? Hold on. Child? Child actor component? No, I have to do an actual, like, actor object reference, and then, well, I could. There's all kinds of ways I can do this. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. We don't need to flesh this out right now. Close that. Okay, this is a decent starting point. We can feel out how things are going otherwise. So, with that being said, let's close all these blueprints so that way it doesn't try to open them all up the next time I launch Unreal. I say today was a pretty decent success. You know what would be smart, actually? I'll add another tab and just say, I call it implementations. That way we can also keep track of what we've done. Implementations. So day 01, June 20th. We implemented the night shift character blueprint. I'm going to reopen it now. So, what did we add? We added mouse input for looking around. We added movement input for horizontal movement. We added jump input for jumping. We added well, we didn't really implement it, but we added an interaction input, and all it does is create a capsule line trace. Creates capsule line trace. We implemented a pause. Oh, actually, we implemented shooting. Fire. Nope, we called it shoot. Shoot input, which casts to magic gun BP to fire. And then we also added a pause feature and game over feature. So we added pause input to pause game and spawn widget. Spawn pause widget. And then we did the end of shift function. End of shift function pauses game and spawns night shift clock out widgets. You know, I'm gonna be nice to the people watching the stream and actually like show the document. I think that'd be kind of nice. And then I'll just move Unreal to the other window just so I can kind of bounce around on that. Oh, we also implemented a health function, didn't we? Where did we put that? All the way down there where I would never find it. There we go. Put that up there. So go back. Event, any damage. Take damage from source and simulate physics on death. That's pretty much all we did for the night shift character, so we can close that. Actually, we can also kind of talk about the night shift controller. I'll rename that controller later, I'm sure it'll be fine. And all we really implemented on that was the pause and resume game functionality. So we can just do that. Pause game. Pauses game and sets mouse cursor to visible. Resume game. Unpauses game and sets mouse cursor to invisible. Pretty simple stuff. We made the magic gun. Magic gun BP. I don't think we did that much in here, right? Yeah, everything is literally in one event graph here, so we can just do event fire, which checks current ammo for prior to shooting, spawns projectile actor, and subtracts from current ammo. If current ammo is 0, trigger end of night shift. Really basic. We also did the projectile itself. Yeah, probably should talk about that. Projectile BP. I think this one we literally just did the collision thing, right? Yeah. Events. Actor begin overlap. Apply damage. And then we just did the day shift character, which just has the pause function and the end of shift function. So, day shift character blueprint. Input action pause. Actually, I called it something different above there. Pause input. Pause game and spawn pause widget. Then end of shift function. pauses game and spawns day shift clock out widget. That's not true, actually. And spawns night shift clock out widget. So that'll be some. We'll need to make a day shift clock out widget at some point, but we'll cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We also made a cafe controller. We'll call it day shift controller in here, just so that way I understand what I'm reading. Day shift controller. And I don't think we did much in here. Set input mode game and UI. Then all that's left to really document in here should be the... I forgot about the game modes. Okay, I'll just lightly touch on them because it's pretty straightforward. Okay, day shift game mode. Default controller is day shift controller, and default character is day shift character. Night shift game mode. Default controller is night shift controller. Default character is day shift character. Whoops. I'm paying attention, I swear. Day shift character. Night shift character. Okay. And then the AI, we didn't do much with it. We essentially just enemy parent BP. So we added pawn sensing. Oops. Events, any damage. We could just copy paste the text from the night shift character at this point. And then we set up events attack, which does nothing. But then we did the test child. And the test child where does that go? There it is. I need to make comments on this blueprint at some point so I can like more easily see what I'm looking at. But events on C pawn attack, and then events attack, spawn capsule trace, and apply damage. Honestly, for a 2-hour day one session, I'm pretty happy with the progress we made. I think by like day 3, I'm gonna actually have to start modeling stuff so I can actually like test things more accurately, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy with day 1's progress. All right. Yeah, we'll end it here. So thanks for everyone who tuned in. Thanks for everyone for chatting. I will see you over the course of the next 10 days as we evolve this from this little nothingness to an actual game. Looking forward to it. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah, video games, yeah.